Hey there guys, welcome back to AFC Game by Game. This is my review of Arsenal's 3-1 victory at the Emirates Stadium this afternoon against Stoke City. It was a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. Stoke City, I thought, went into this game, they were going into the game on good form, but I still think in my mind this is quite a poor Stoke City side under Mark Hughes. I would have expected a more comfortable and more emphatic victory from Arsenal, but we do have to consider that we played away from home in Switzerland in midweek with that 4-1 victory against Basel. So maybe it was worth taking into account, something I didn't do before the game, that some of our players wouldn't be as fresh as this Stoke City side, considering that they've had a little bit longer to prepare for this game than we have. But it was a difficult game for us right from the start. We saw that injury to Shkodran Mustafi in that first half. We saw us go behind courtesy of a Charlie Adam penalty in the first half. But I think it's real testament to Arsenal's resilience and steel this season that we were able to come back and win the game with three very good goals to ensure 3 points were staying at the Emirates Stadium this afternoon. We are now top of the table for this evening at least, and it's a great position for us to be in. I mean, to go away from home, to win 4-1 against Basel, to win 3-1 today. Yes, we are conceding the odd goal here and there, but we're scoring goals for fun at the moment. And if you look at Manchester City losing today away from home at Leicester, getting absolutely thumped by Leicester 4-2, I feel like we're in a great position to challenge for the title this season. And of course, I don't want to speak too soon. We were in a similar position last year. But if you look at the clubs around us and the weaknesses they've got, I really feel like we're in a position of strength in terms of going for this Premier League title this season. Our only real competitors at the moment look to be, I think it would be naive of me to say it's only Chelsea, but they seem to be the most well-established team at the moment. Liverpool, in my opinion, I don't know how much longer they can continue with this pressing game. We saw that they got undone by Bournemouth last week. It will be interesting to see how they fare up against West Ham United tomorrow. But there are lots of teams that could potentially come out of nowhere that could cause us problems. But as I say, we're in a great position at the moment. We're challenging on all fronts, which is something that I'm pleased to see Arsenal do, something we haven't done in quite some time in previous years. But today's result, a much needed one, and great resilience from Arsenal. Now, we saw a team which was unchanged from last weekend, the 5-1 victory against West Ham, and I can totally understand that lineup, why Wenger would want to persist with it. It was fantastic away from home at the London Stadium. But I did want to see the likes of Kieran Gibbs and Lucas Perez stay in the Arsenal team going into this game. Of course, the players that came in for those two today were Nacho Monreal, who I thought was perfectly fine today. As I said in the preview, I wasn't too fussed if it was Gibbs or Monreal, but for me, Gibbs is in a position to be challenging Monreal for that left back spot at the moment, and he had a real opportunity to seal a place at left back today. I'm a bit disappointed that he didn't get a chance, but I'm thinking that he may get an opportunity in midweek against Everton. As I say, I wanted to see Lucas Perez start as well following his hat-trick. I think it was a bit harsh on him not to give him any minutes at all. And I do think there were quite a lot of spaces within this game for him to exploit, especially for a poacher, as is his nature. But maybe again we'll see him in midweek against Everton. But the players that came in the names of Oxlade-Chamberlain and Theo Walcott, I thought after a rather scrappy first halves, they really grew into the game. Theo Walcott, I thought, was sublime in that second half. Of course, he got himself on the score sheet today as well. All around a very good team performance, I think, in that second half. The first half, I don't know, things didn't quite click for us. Maybe it was because a lot of our players were so tired from that game in midweek. But Alexis seemed to be dropping very deep. It seemed to be a game that was tailor-made for Olivier Giroud. But I was pleased to see that we persisted with Alexis Sanchez up top going out into that second half. And I'm pleased to see that this Arsenal team just can get goals from absolutely anywhere on the pitch at the moment. It really is testament to how exciting this Arsenal squad is and how many players of different ability we've got in and around the pitch. It really is exciting to be an Arsenal fan at this moment in time. Of course, things didn't quite go to plan. Stoke getting a penalty, their first real opportunity of the game. We had a few half chances before they got this penalty. We had a chance through Theo Walcott. Mesut Ozil had a chance as well, but that was about it from our point of view. Stoke hadn't really threatened our goal, but they had looked rather comfortable at times throughout spells in this game. It didn't help that we'd just lost Shkodran Mustafi. Before this, he's going to be out with a hamstring injury, but I'll get onto that a little bit later. Do I think this was a penalty or not? I mean, I do feel that if it was anywhere else on the pitch, the whistle would have blown. So in a way, you've got to applaud the referee for being consistent and giving it in the penalty area. I'm surprised that Granit Xhaka wasn't given a yellow card if it was going to be deemed as dangerous play. I do think it's a difficult one. I think Xhaka's arm is high and Joe Allen appears to have just run into it. But on the flip side, we don't really know what's going through Xhaka's mind. We don't know if that's intentional. We know Xhaka's got a bit of flair in his game, so whether he meant that or not, we're not going to know. I do think it was maybe ever so slightly harsh, but I don't think we can argue with it too much. If it was anywhere else on the pitch, if it happened against us, I think we'd be arguing for that to be a penalty. Charlie Adam coolly stepped up and puts it to Petr Cech's right-hand side. I don't think I've ever seen Cech save a penalty for us, and to be frank, I'm never particularly convinced when he is between the sticks when a penalty is upon him. Why that is, I'm not too sure, but he just seems to dive far too early from my point of view. But Cech did make a couple of good saves in that second half, so and we responded well from that penalty. It has to be said. We got our goal through Theo Walker. Wonderful, wonderful play. We saw Bellerin come on for the injured Mustafi, and he was sublime when he came into the field of play. Absolutely scintillating. It was like he'd never been gone. But it was Alexis that threaded the ball through to Hector Bellerin. Bellerin putting it on a plate for Theo Walcott, and Walcott making no mistake in putting it into the back of the net. Credit to Theo Walcott for being in the right place at the right time. His 100th goal, and it's 10 before Christmas for him. So fair play, Theo Walcott. You're getting that coffee machine from your wife. I'm sure that was a big incentive for him going into the game today. But going out into that second half, real quality from Arsenal to score in the 49th minute. Wonderful lofted ball over the top from Oxlade-Chamberlain. Wonderful vision from him onto the head of Mesut Ozil, who just seemed to create the space around him. He was in acres and acres of space, just lofted it over Grant with a looping header into the back of the net to make it 2-1. And from that point, it really was comfortable for Arsenal. We got our third goal through Alex Iwobi, the substitute, who came on, and it was a foul on Alexis in the build-up, most definitely. Charlie Adam making a stamp on Alexis, and I really do think that needs to be investigated by the FA. Whether it will be or not, I'm not too sure. But there was a clear stamp from Charlie Adam on Alexis Sanchez. But Alex Iwobi made no mistake in pinching the ball off the injured Alexis Sanchez, running at the keeper and putting it down to his right-hand side with a very cool and calm finish. 2 goals in 2 for Alex Iwobi. Yeah, I would hope that he's got a bit more of that in his locker, because we saw when he came into this Arsenal team last season, got the goal against Watford, got the goal against Everton. We know what he's capable of, and I would hope that he's going to score a few more goals and be a bit more composed in front of goal for the majority of the rest of the season at least. But it's been a good day for us with City losing. We are top of the league, as I say. Few notable mentions for players today. Francis Coquelin, I thought he was immaculate. My contender for man of the match. Gabriel, who played in 2 positions today and looked comfortable in them both. I think it's real credit to the guy that he was able to perform so calmly today as well in what was quite a high intensity match, especially when he came up against 2 very different strikers in the names of Diouf and Peter Crouch, who almost scored when he first came into the field of play. So credit to Gabriel. Koscielny alongside him was superb. And on the note of Mustafi being injured for what I think will be 5-6 weeks, so he will miss quite a few games. Well, he will miss the entire Christmas period and possibly a few games in January. He's going to miss these crucial games against Everton and Manchester City away. I'm not actually worried about Gabriel coming into the team. I think he's been quality whenever he's played for us this season, and we've got a third choice centre half as well in Rob Holding. So, I mean, if you look at the way John Stones played today, and when we've got players like Gabriel and Rob Holding that can come in and do a job at centre half, we're spoiled, and it just shows the squad depth that we've got, and I really am confident going into these up-and-coming games, and I've got no real quibbles whatsoever with Gabriel or Rob Holding filling in at centre-half. It's a great couple of options to have, but a great win for the Arsenal today, 3-1 at home. Again, more of the same, but we need to be seeing a little bit more of enthusiasm from this Arsenal team going into games. I do think there are times in matches where we don't really get going until we've scored a goal of our own, but, you know, hopefully Arsenal will be getting a couple more wins on the bounce. If we can beat Everton, if we can beat Manchester City, then that puts us in a real position, and then we can start talking about us being the real deal. But I think we've got the real potential to beat these 2 teams that we've got up against us in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, guys, I'm not going to ramble on too much. Please do get your thoughts on today's game in the comments box below. As I've mentioned in the past couple of videos, there is still an opportunity to enter my competition on my Twitter. I'll leave the link to that in the description box below. You've just got to leave your favourite Arsenal moment of the past decade, and you can be in with a chance of winning any one of Arsenal's shirts from this season. So that's the home kit, the away kit, or the third kit. As I say, I'll leave that in the description box below. Anyway, guys, drop a like on this video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to AFC Game by Game. And as always, I'll be speaking to you very, very soon.